It was a cold and silent night in the laboratory. Sitting at the table, we were discussing the usual procedures when a woman with a tired look approached. With a gentle smile, I said, "We're not going to use the cavity fluid now. Let's go outside, smoke a cigarette, and chat while we wait for about 30 minutes." She agreed with a nod, and we went out together. The cold air outside seemed to relieve the tension in the room. We smoked and talked about trivialities, trying to ignore the slowly passing time. After the break, we returned to the lab. In an automatic gesture, I turned off the light and left the body inside, something I always did without a second thought. However, something was different that night, an unsettling feeling I couldn't ignore. Returning to work, my colleague preferred to stay at the metal door, watching as I prepared to resume the procedure. Suddenly, she stopped and banged her hands on the door, the sound echoing down the empty corridor. "What is it?" I asked, noticing the alarmed expression on her face. "I don't know," she replied, her eyes wide, but I felt something strange. Trying to calm her, I entered the lab and, in an automatic motion, went to turn on the light without looking. That's when my eyes caught something in the dim light. My colleague remained at the door, hesitant, while I tried to get back to work. "Come on, it's time," I said, trying to mask the nervousness in my voice. She followed behind me, but stopped abruptly. I heard the sound of her hands hitting the metal door, the noise echoing through the empty space. "What is it?" I asked, turning to her. "I don't know," she replied, her voice trembling. I felt something strange. Her pale face reflected what I was feeling too. I took a deep breath and moved forward, trying to ignore the chill running up my spine. I approached the switch and, without looking, reached out to turn on the light. That's when I saw, out of the corner of my eye, something that made my blood run cold. A silhouette, motionless, beside the body on the table. I blinked, trying to adjust my vision to the dim light, but the figure remained there, solid and inexplicable. "What are you looking at?" my colleague asked, taking a hesitant step closer. "There's something there," I whispered, pointing with my chin towards the table. She looked but didn't seem to see what I did. "I don't see anything," she said, but her tone lacked certainty. Still, I couldn't take my eyes off the silhouette. A chill ran through my body as I realized I was facing something that shouldn't be there, something that defied all logic and understanding. And then the light flickered. The night seemed endless, and the clock on the wall marked the hours slowly. Suddenly, the laboratory doors creaked open, revealing a funeral director holding a small white urn. The cold light reflected off the surface of the urn, sending a chill down my spine. "It's a child," he said in a low, grave voice, 5 years old. The mother, still in the car, was in a state of despair that was palpable even from a distance. When the director opened the urn, a lump formed in my throat. There she was, covered by a sheet, with her nails painted in various colors, each one a reflection of the short life she had lived in the cancer hospital. "She loved painting her nails," explained the director, with a sad look. "The mother had requested that we place a doll with her and that everything be decorated with salmon roses, the girl's favorite color. With great care, I removed the lid of the urn and, holding the child delicately, began the procedure. Her expression, once cyanotic and purple, began to soften under my care. After completing the work, I felt an urgent need to rest. When I got home, I collapsed into bed, exhausted. It didn't take long for my dreams to be invaded by a familiar presence. The little girl, with her colorful nails, appeared running behind my bed, laughing as if she were playing. I woke up with a start, my heart pounding. The feeling of being watched persisted, and it was as if the thin barrier between dream and reality had been broken. In the corner of the room, a shadow seemed to move slowly. It was just another dream. I had to urgently return to work, Upon arriving, it was the last body of the night. It belonged to a young gypsy woman, dressed in a shiny red skirt and a white blouse without a bra, exactly as the family had requested. They had also sent a special scarf, an important symbol for her. The funeral director explained to me in detail how the scarf should be placed, a gesture of respect and care. But as I prepared to dress the body, I noticed that the scarf was missing. I searched frantically, turning everything upside down within reach, but I couldn't find it. Despair took hold of me. I knew how important that scarf was to the family, and the responsibility of losing it was overwhelming. In a moment of desperation, I looked at the young woman's body and, as if it were my last hope, whispered, "Please, help me. I need to find your scarf." I felt a strange calm come over me, and a word appeared in my mind: trash. Following this instinct, I went to the laboratory's trash bins, carefully rummaging through each bag. Finally, in the second bin, I pulled out a bag that seemed familiar. I opened it, and there was the scarf, intact. A feeling of relief and gratitude flooded me. I took the scarf and, with great care, placed it around the young woman's body as the family had instructed. Before closing the casket, I leaned in and murmured a silent thank you. Later, as I finished my shift and prepared to go home, I felt a presence beside me. It was a feeling of peace, a confirmation that everything was in order. As I walked down the empty hallway, a soft and familiar shadow seemed to follow me, accompanying me to the exit door. This experience stayed with me, always reminding me that there is more between heaven and earth than we can see. Sometimes, help comes from the least expected places, and in moments of need, a simple prayer can be heard in mysterious ways.